Right, welcome back to Global Fintech Fest, brought to you by NPCI, PCI, and FCC in association with Department of Economic Affairs, RBI, and IFSCI. Well, as mentioned, Product Showcase is our future presentation supported by HSBC, and an interesting lineup for us. To begin the session with, may I please invite Mr. Visham Sikand, co-founder and CEO, Goals 101 Data Solutions Private Limited amongst us up here on stage. Please help me welcome with a round of applause, Mr. Visham Sikand. Would you need an extra mic, Cordless? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. And the...
So how do I go ahead on this? What do I do on this? Just press the play. And how do I go back here?
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
Check. All right, and one special announcement for our presenters that we want to keep it up on time, so please kindly restrain and limit yourself to the mentioned timing, and provided a minute or two, we can address a few questions by the end of your session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Prachi. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Quickly, okay, so we'll make this a little more interesting and fun for all of us over here. Because obviously you guys are doing multiple presentations and attending multiple sessions. So just a quick background to myself and the company. My name is Visham Sikand. I'm a pastor from Harvard Business School. This is my third startup. In my previous role, I was the chairman to Aetna. This is the second biggest health insurance company of the world. They bought out my previous company. And before that, I did a bank tech company that was bought out by a UK company called Serco. So this is my third startup. Milan, my co-founder, is here. Milan was the country head of Liberty Insurance in his previous role. So let me quickly show you, a lot has been discussed these days around data. But if data is used very interestingly by a country like India, a lot can be done with it, with the power of it. So the world's economy runs on a customer spending at a brand. All of us, at the end, we're all sitting here to earn money. We go and buy an insurance product, we go and buy something at Amazon, and we go and buy at Starbucks, or we go and buy the registration at this place. So the entire thing works there. A lot of interesting companies have come who are talking about how to enable more transaction. They are POS companies like Pine Labs, Razorpays. They are companies like NPCI who are trying to ensure that the networks are good. NPCI, Visa, MasterCard, the connections are far and beyond the countries and merchants. But there can be a lot of interesting other companies that have come in the space saying that, for example, there are companies which are giving loans to merchants and saying, hey, can you do, get more products and sell? Just imagine if the banks start playing a very interesting role in this. All of us are transacting on our credit card, debit card, UPI. Imagine a small merchant, let's say it's a Chinese restaurant where you eat and you live in Chembur. The banks obviously know that you live in Chembur because they have your office address, your residence address. Imagine if the bank gives a user interface without giving out any data to any merchant and says, hey, Chinese restaurants of Chembur, come on this user interface and target a customer who is eating Chinese food with, let's say, ABC Bank. So imagine, so I'm just saying, let's say I'm mainland China and Milan is eating at a Chinese restaurant in Chembur. And suddenly there's a user interface given to mainland China saying, I want to talk to all people who eat Chinese here. I'm ready to give them a 20% discount. But this person, and they could put a filter that I only want it to be females. I want it to be people below the age of 30 age group. This goes back in the bank's system. And the campaign that comes out to you is from that Chinese restaurant because you are staying in Chembur and you get that 20% extra off. Let's put a bigger use case of this one. Let's say Amazon wants to go and talk to customers in the category B and C cities where people are still not come to e-commerce. Obviously, e-commerce is still about 20% penetrated. So they go and say that all those people who are spending offline in this bank, can they be given an Amazon program and offer, and that goes there. So today, Goals 101 does this. Banks, Visa, MasterCard, NPCI could provide data to us, which is non-PI. We do not know who the customer is. We do not need to know who the customer is. where that, well, for example, that customer hash ID is doing a transaction yesterday at 400 rupees at Starbucks at 4:40 p.m. What is the customer data means? What kind of customer? Is it a male? Is he 40 years plus? We don't need to have date of births here. And merchant data that, okay, this was Amazon, merchant category code, merchant ID, and terminal ID. Imagine if this data comes on a platform which is completely privacy compliant, and this data automatically gets ingested, cleansed, because data is very junk most of these times. What happens in this? A merchant comes there and he hyper targets a consumer. He says, like Facebook, like Google. I don't know whether you all know that the fourth biggest digital channel in the world now is a business concept like this. So Google is number 1, as we know. Facebook is number 2. Amazon is number 3. Cardlytics in the US is number 4 now. 49,000 merchants come on their platform on a daily basis, say that I want to talk to this kind of a customer in Bank of America, and that program goes to that customer in Bank of America. So today, merchants are ready to target a customer of a bank by getting a user interface on this. So no data is given out to the merchants. They just come there and say, want to talk to this person who's spending more than 2,000 rupees on offline apparel. And that's where the program goes. And the customer gets that. It's relevant for the customer because he's spending on offline, so he's spending on Zara. He gets a Marks & Spencer program. So merchants come, they get more transactions. So if you are a small SME, your biggest desire is to acquire new customers. If there's a platform which brings this to you, this is what you want to solve for. So this, obviously the customer is happier because the offers are stronger, the campaigns are stronger, and they're more relevant for the customer. So what happens here? Merchants come here. The data is already there in the platform. Each of us in the banking community now will get personalized communication. So no one will just get a random McDonald's offer. You will get an offer which is relevant for the kind of transactions you're doing. It could be a cross-sell product. It could be, let's say you have a EMI. Let's say you're an ICICI customer. Your EMIs are running on, home loan is running on HDFC. And they can clearly see that you're paying, let's say, 50,000 rupees on EMI. Immediately, ICICI can send you a program saying, hey, we have a home loan buy over product. Why don't you do that? Today, randomly, some agents call you up for health insurance, for whatever. Now the systems will automatically do it. So everybody gets that. The customer uses the program, and it is completely, you don't need to go and do anything. Just go and swipe at the merchant, and automatically you get the benefit of that campaign. So just quickly telling you, so we already been working with around 12 plus banks. Most of our banks are outside of India. In India also, we have 6 leading banks. 4 billion data points are analyzed by the platform daily. The points come to us every day. The transactions come to us every day. 100 plus merchants are already on the board. The campaigns sent out by the banks now have 600% higher conversion rates because it's relevant for the customer, it's stronger, and it's more hyper-targeted. So it's a deep tech privacy compliant platform which is built on AI. We are one of the first ever white label products for Visa globally now. So Visa has obviously seen fancy in the product, and they have partnered with us for 89 odd countries, which is Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa. We're now building a global product with Visa. So that's our next thing with them. This is for 89 countries. That will be for more than 200 countries. Our partnered banks are in India, UAE, and Malaysia, IndusInd, ICICI, Kotak, Yes, SDFC, Deutsche, RBL. Actually, one of the banks is also HSBC. So just to tell you all, similar business and entity in US has partnered more than 500 banks. So in US and UK, this concept is already big. In Asia, we are the first company to bring this over here. So that's where we are. We have won a couple of good awards on our journey in this space. We have a nice team also over here. So I'm the founder along with Milan. All of us, we have a decent team which still owns majority of the company even after multiple rounds of funding. And on the board, we have the previous Facebook CEO, Nexus, previous Oracle MD, the CEO of Amex, and the previous Google MD of India. So, and obviously our current investors are some of the good ones. These are our partners. We have the best data security and privacy compliance on the globe to global standards. So what are we looking forward in the next couple of years is in this data that comes from credit card, debit cards, or whichever, for example, it could be anything else, your wallets. we want to completely automate. Banks do not need to have 100 people doing this for you. Data should come on a platform. Automatic communication should go out to you, which should be relevant. You don't need to have people who are culling out data, doing things on a manual batch basis. Solve for India. Obviously, we'll solve for India. We're looking at a big partnership in India, which maybe you will hear next quarter. And then obviously with Visa, we are trying to go for more than 100 countries. And then launch a new product line on this same data set. Can we automate your cross-sell products? So very interesting stuff. There's a link that I have sent, Prachi. Can that link be played? Yeah, so I'll quickly show you a 2-minute video on how this entire thing works as a product use case. This is how Visa shows it to the world.
Introducing VMAP, Visa's marketing automated.
This is our product.
VMAP connects issuers, merchants, and consumers in a way like never before. Through our cloud-based AI-driven platform, we are now able to connect issuers' database to merchant partners, allowing banks to gain access to continuous merchant-funded offers that are personalized to the issuer's consumer segments. The system hosts anonymized issuer data at a platform level that allows merchants to provide bespoke offers without the need for any issuer PII. For the merchant, this provides them with an opportunity to increase market penetration by gaining access to the issuer's base via the offers repository housed on the VMAP system. Only the most relevant offers from the repository are selected by VMAP and provided to the issuer. Once the offer is selected by the issuer, this will automatically integrate to the VMAP system via the issuer's own database. Where VMAP gets even more effective is in its output through the continuously automated process.
So the front end now you have from banks will be very exciting that you will see compared to what you get as emails today.
Management system. When the consumer redeems the offer, the data is updated in the issuer database. This then generates an automated report back to the merchant, who can track the direct business impact from each offer they made. VMAP's automation engine can automatically create on-brand creative versions for digital, social, and traditional media formats. Design consistency is automatically hard-coded into the system, ensuring the output is consistently on brand. Final assets can then be shared with media agencies, activation agencies, or other key stakeholders ready for campaign rollout. The system can also push the assets into the issuer's own asset platform. This will dramatically reduce production cost while in turn providing a critical mass of assets to be able to effectively test and optimize in real time. VMAP, the new way to integrate a merchant ecosystem to make intelligent, personalized banking a reality.
Thank you. That's it. So broadly, I'm just saying, so if you do it in a good way, it can have a good result for the customer, for the bank, for the economy. So just to tell you, we have in India, we have run about 40,000 campaigns till now. The results of each of those campaigns is at least 400% better than what the banks would have done by sending you individual emails and SMS. So yeah, so that's what we are about. And thank you everyone for listening to us. Thank you. Any questions? Yes, please.
So I want to ask one question, that you are planning to be a performance marketing platform or something like that?
Yeah, one side of it is performance marketing.
And what about then integrating with different third-party vendors such as applications and different websites who have a lot of traffic, and you want to definitely, from banks you are getting the details and who won't be able to capture, but definitely if you are running an ad or playing a campaign, you must be integrating with that platform as well. So how are you going to do it? And if you have done already, so who are your partners?
A good question. So there are a lot of countries where they're open to do third-party integrations with apps like this. So as we are launching with more than 100 countries. So there is where we are looking at that. In India also, we're looking at how we can do it in a privacy-compliant way, so that it can't be the customer seeing it suddenly on their Facebook because bank, right? So right now it's banking channels in India. Internationally, we are looking at what you're talking about, and we're talking to the biggest, one of the biggest digital players who will help us in doing this. Yeah.
Okay. And I also want to know that is bank are getting benefited, or like
yeah.
They
so what happens to a bank is, for example, this customer is spending. Bank's goal on credit card, debit card is to increase your number of transactions. So if they give you more relevant, aggressive offers, you spend more on it. So you become, instead of going offline and using cash, you'll start using the credit card, debit cards, or the UPIs of the world, right? So if you give more and more relevance and more ease of such programs, that's how the country becomes more and more digital. That's what
So
we
do you have any specific campaign pricing which you have set, or you leave it on a bank or
So
to
yeah,
decide?
good point. So globally, it is 6% of the transaction amount is what we charge. So for example, let's say Starbucks says, I want to talk to all coffee drinkers in Bombay, not coming to Starbucks, and let's say 10,000 people do a transaction, 10,000 to 500 rupees into 6%. So it's a new attribution model because we know the transaction value and outcome, which others do not know in the world. So that's why it's around 6%, yeah. So that's why it's much higher than interchain and much higher. So it's a very highly profitable business to be in.
I get it. So what kind of campaigns you are planning, like email marketing campaigns, banners, or is there
All
any
of them. We have
fixed-
done.
all
We
of them?
have done all of them.
And
Yeah,
okay.
all of
Because,
them.
every-
Notifications, everything. So yeah, we have done all of them. The next one that you will hear next quarter will be something which will be maybe globe changing. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you so much. I'd have to request you to step once again. There you go. All right. Give it up once again for Mr. Sikand, please. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, in the next product showcase, I would like to call upon President Sales, Mr. Jayesh Bahadur, representing Probe Information Services Private Limited. So, please help me welcome him with a round of applause, and let's keep up a little high on energy. I know the lunch time is here and nearing soon, but yes, over to you.
So good afternoon, everyone. I know I'm intruding into your lunchtime, but trust me, the presentation should be good enough for you to really enjoy it. So the last speaker spoke about data, right? That was more B2C. Not sure how many of you have heard about Probe Information. We are India's #1 corporate information platform. And so today, every banker, nearly every banker, we work with almost all the banks. You name the bank and we work with them. PSU banks, private banks, MNC banks, cooperative banks, most of the major corporates that we work. So we have close to 65,000 bankers and over 40,000 corporate users who are using our platform. So essentially what we do is we collate information on 1.7 million companies which are registered corporates from 740 plus public domain sources and present to you on a platform for you to really make a very informed and quick decision for whatever use case that you're looking at within your own function. So today, some of the sources are bureaus, where you get the suit file cases, credit rating from the rating agencies, all the financials from MCA. So MCA is one of the big source for us. GST filing information, which is in public domain. We track 671 courts. So all the cases filed against a company, by the company, pending cases, disposed cases in various tribunals, you will get there. LEI information on companies. So typically, close to more than 70,000 companies are being viewed on a platform almost on a daily basis. We process close to 11 million companies every month. So essentially, we collect the information, we clean that information, curate that information, analyze, and then deliver it on a platform. Now, how do banks and NBFCs typically use it? For various purposes. Some of the use cases are when they are looking at camp preparation, they use the information from our platform. ROC search report, you'll get to see all the charges that are got created by various banks and financial institutions, open charges, satisfied, modified, the date was created, the amount, the rate of interest, property particulars that has been mortgaged, everything can be viewed on that. Beneficial ownership. So any company having shareholding or a person or director having more than 26% shareholding, you can track that here. Then for re-KYC, current account onboarding, credit monitoring, etc. So essentially we help the banks improve their credit quality, the turnaround time. And also one of the big use cases in banks is for lead generation. So one can search companies and potential customers through various search filters as narrowed down to a pin code. Yeah, and then of course industry, etc. Now, how corporates are using it? Essentially, corporates, we help them from growth perspective. Yeah, so they can identify financially strong and growing customers. Again, they can do multiple searches through various search filters by industry, by segments within the industry, by revenue range, by credit rating, and multiple other features that one can really search for. So we help them in their growth. Then, of course, when you get business, you need profitable customers. You can assess them more from financial standpoint, right? We help companies reduce their credit cycle, the bad debts, etc. So you all try to then work with good customers. So we help in increasing their profitability. And also from a risk standpoint, in terms of, one can analyze the customers and suppliers, almost on real-time basis on a platform. So essentially, we improve the turnaround time, we reduce the costs, and we have the largest coverage. As I said, 1.7 million companies on the platform, which is the active universe, and 2.5 million companies ever registered in India. So every day, close to 800,000 companies are getting registered in India every day. You can see that information with the fly. Then, of course, you get unique company benefits. So within an organization, one can create team, and one company can be viewed by multiple team members, within the group. They are some of our customers in various segments. You can see almost all the banks, NBFCs, fintechs, and most of the major corporates. 20,000 plus customers who are using our platform on a daily basis. Some of the expected features that we are going to release shortly will be Probe Score, which will help companies from risk scoring, size score, profitability, balance sheet, etc. From timeline alerting in terms of any changes that happen in a company. Of course, when you onboard a customer, vendor, supplier, you would also want to track it on an ongoing basis. So you can really, whatever changes are happening, one can track on that. Then like me companies. So today you have, let's say, 100 top customers, good customers. You would want to see what are the similar customers or similar companies having similar attributes. You can look at those companies from potential business standpoint. So these are up for release in a few months. So we'll be shortly announcing this. So this is what we have. Any questions? Any questions around that? Yeah, thank you.
The data that you have,
Yeah.
Is it all public data, or is there, data that should not be public? And if it's not, then how do you license it?
Yeah. So as I said, all the data or information that we have is from public domain sources. Okay. So there's no proprietary information. So we track MCA information, we track all the codes, LEI information, GST filing information, credit rating information on companies, and any other information from RBI or suit file cases. Everything is in public domain. So if you want all this information, you can still go to these sources, 743 sources, get that information. We organize it, collate that, and all these filings happen through documents. So we collect that information, present it in a format where you can analyze that, do peer comparison, see financials, see the graphs, see the sort of various other ratios, etc., and make an informed decision depending on which function you are in, right?
Sure. Thanks.
Within an organization, yeah. What about the pricing? So pricing is, of course, we can discuss the pricing separately depending on, so we have a pricing matrix which starts as low as almost 309 rupees per company per year, and it could go up to 449 rupees, including GST. So typically, as I said, in an organization, it's about companies that we talk about, right? So you buy X number of credits. Let's say you buy 500 credits, which means you can view 500 companies in a year. And the day you unlock a company, then you can view that company for next 1 year and any number of employees within the organization. It could be 10, it could be 100, it could be 10,000 employees as well, depending on the size of the organization. Any other question? Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, so that was Mr. Jayesh. And up next in the product showcase, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call upon very quickly MIMO Technologies Pvt Ltd, and to represent the same, we have Chief Sales Officer Nilopal Roy with us. Please put your hands together for Mr. Roy.
Hello everyone, very good afternoon. My name is Nilopal Roy. I'm here to represent an organization called MIMO Technologies. I'll not take a lot of your time. I'll quickly take you through the introduction part. So what is MIMO Technologies? MIMO Technologies, actually we are working as a tech-enabled distributor at one side. Also we are working as a B2B mobile wallet company, where we are trying to disrupt the entire cash collection model in deep rural part of the country. So in the first segment, as a tech-enabled distributor, we are working as an agent marketplace where we have more than 18,500 active agents working on ground. They are covering some around 18 different states, 3 union territories, and some around 8,000 unique pin codes. We have been working in this industry from past 6.5 or precisely 7 years, where we are here to provide us kind of solution statement to kind of problem. The first problem for which we are trying to provide a solution is that nearly 70% of our population stays in rural. However, it's a big opportunities for the enterprises. Despite of that, enterprises struggles a lot in entering the rural market. The second problem statement in the rural market is the unemployment rate is very high, which forces an youth after completing his primary education, they tend to migrate to tier 1 cities in search of job. So over here, MIMO comes into an existence with a solution. At one side, we are helping the enterprises to go to rural and giving them an access or gateway in the rural market. On the other end, through our digital entrepreneurship model, we are engaging the rural youth and asking them to join in our ecosystem where we are ensuring that their life is being sustainable. A sustainable income is there for their entire time. So how we are doing this? So what we do in the ecosystem, that we tie up with companies like bank, MFIs, NBFCs, microfinance companies, marketing companies, and aggregate their product and services through our agent network. Though it's not a traditional or orthodox vendor management company, it's a hardcore tech-enabled company. So all 17,500 agents who are working in the ecosystem, they are using an app. Through the app, they are doing all kind of activities. So we can also say that it's a kind of Uberization of the entire ecosystem. What normally happens in Uber, same thing happens in our ecosystem. Suppose if any client want us to assign us or want us to get any work done, using the portal, they upload the work in our portal, and the system automatically assigns the works to a ground level agents. All 17,500 agents who are working in the ecosystem, they are blue collar agents. However, they are skilled trained agents. So all the agents who are working, they are trained agents in all the processes, all the activities which they are performing on ground. This is the approach which we have taken. At one end, we have enterprises. On the other hand, we have our ground level agent network, where we are working as a bridge between an enterprises as well as ground level network. At one side, we take work from the enterprises, convert those work into a micro job opportunities, and supply those work to a ground level agents. So using the application and using the technological model, we are getting everything work done in the entire ecosystem. So our end-to-end ecosystem is an automated process of ecosystem where we don't believe in having a manual interaction. So the client, any companies with whom we are working, they doesn't have to interact with our entire operations team or entire team in order to perform any kind of activities. So if using the portal, they will have an access or visibility of all kind of activities which is being pushed in the entire ecosystem. These are some of the list of services which we are offering, and we have an expertise in these kind of services. This is the product stack, or you can say a our dashboard portal which we are offering to our client, which have a multiple layer of access where any activity or any work which has been pushed in the MIMO's ecosystem can be tracked down and can be traced at a minute level. So in brief, in holistically, I can say that MIMO, any work where a manpower requirement is there, a feet on street requirement is there, or where you would require a last mile connectivity, MIMO is helping the enterprises in engaging those activities. So this is a dashboard view where our clients gets a detailed analytics or detailed representation that what are the views available. This is why MIMO, why client approaches us in terms of work, because we have a very strong presence in the rural market, though we have a presence in urban cities as well, not predominantly in rural. In both a mix and match combination, we are offering catering services to our enterprises. These are some of the list of clients. As I rightly said, it's not a traditional or orthodox vendor management company. It's a hardcore tech-enabled company. So why we are saying that? Because we are working into a diversified business model. It's not restricted to BFSI segment or not to the marketing segment. We are working with various startups. There are more than 80,000 startups registered in India, so all the startups might not be deep-pocketed as Amazon or Flipkart. So we are helping these startups in doing all kind of BTL activities, doing all kind of promotional activities, door-to-door marketing activities, road shows, and trying to create a penetration mainly in tier 3, 4, and 5 cities of the country. Apart from the logistics, we are also providing last mile end-to-end logistics to various partners, whether it's a hyperlocal logistics, whether it's a mid-mile logistics, or whether it's end-to-end logistics services. We are engaged in the logistics part as well. Software, yes, we have it's an in-house developed software where we are providing the software as a service to our existing client, which includes your NBFCs and microfinance who have a lot of resources available on ground. To track the resources activity on ground, the software is being used by various companies. So these are some of the agents' reviews, the transformation which we have done in past 6 or 7 years. These are some of the rewards and recognition which we have got in past years. So that's it from our end. We are open for the question. Any questions? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Well, moving forward in the product showcase, very quickly and swiftly, I would like to call upon Mr. Vineet Singh, co-founder and CEO, Kassler, with us. Please give it up, guys. 2 more presentations on your way before we actually break and have ourselves some
I'm so relieved that
meals.
I'm not the last one. Yeah, so we'll try to make this as quick as possible. So hopefully this will increase your knowledge a bit. Kassler is slightly, you can say, neglected subject, slightly unknown area, especially in India. A lot of people don't know about the benefits of escrow banking and how it can protect you and why everybody should know about it and should use it at the right times. So Kassler is a 18-month-old startup. Our endeavor is to democratize escrow banking. The suite that we have built is transaction and industry agnostic, and now we are building for cross-border export-import transactions as well. Just to run through, opening an escrow account is very tedious in India. An escrow agreement has to be done. It takes almost 4 to 6 weeks to prepare that agreement. The TAT for opening an escrow account in India is anywhere from, you can say, 2 months to maybe 4 to 6 months. It is reasonably high cost. 3 actors are involved in the account opening process. Bank charges you for escrow account opening and management. Then either you have to appoint a trustee or a lawyer as the escrow agent, so they also charge you, and you have to pay a fee for the escrow agreement as well. Because it is a, you can say, specialized area of banking, a lot of banking folks themselves, they don't know. So a lot of leads and requirements get dropped at the local branch level for escrow banking. So we work with 10 banks integrating into another 10. So almost you can say the top 20 banks of India on the private banking side. And they convert hardly less than 10% of the escrow leads that they get. So huge supply-demand mismatch. Since we have been commercially operational for close to 16 months now, so there is empirical data that yes, there is a need for an alternative solution. In terms of market size, escrow banking is the existing market is very big in India. Around 1 lakh companies in India use escrow accounts. The existing escrow deposits at a very pessimistic level are around $100 billion. The revenue pool is around $4.5 billion, around $2 billion in fee income, the fee that banks, trustees, and lawyers charge you, and around $2.5 billion in interest and forex income, the income that accrues to the bank. If we extrapolate the numbers, and what Castler's agenda is not only to make the, you can say, workflows seamless and smoothen it up for enterprise usage. We intend to launch for MSMEs, SMBs, and consumers as well. So we feel that escrow is going to be a $260 to $300 billion kind of a market by 2030. Just to give you an example, just for general knowledge, we are not the only ones or the first ones across the world. There are many escrow banking players across the world. Almost every major developed economy or geography has a significant escrow player. Escrow players are bucketed into two segments. Either they do payments and banking or they do real estate. So real estate by regulation in North America, Europe, let's say you are buying a resale home, as we call it in India, a secondary real estate transaction, you have to use an escrow account. You have to escrow the title as well. You have to take title insurance so that after the purchase transaction, if you find out that the condo was bought by 3 more people, there is no title fraud. Okay, so you protect yourself from that. Then the Castler Digital Escrow Platform. So we tie up with banks, integrate into their APIs, and then we give a combined suite with the bank, with a Castler transaction management, escrow transaction management solution to our customers. So it's a complex kind of a suite, takes around 6 months to integrate and go live with a bank. So we currently live with 5 banks, doing beta testing with another 5 right now. And we offer, customers can consume our services through APIs, through a web portal. We can white label the solution, and for banks, we can provide a on-prem solution as well. How it works is very simple. We mirror the bank, so we do enterprise level KYC while onboarding you and provide you a user ID and a password, account number with an IFSC code. And then instead of logging in into a bank's internet banking, you log in into the Castler systems and consume our solutions. Performance, we've been live for 16 months now, so around 150 enterprise customers, around 6,000 users, 9 banking partners. The average revenue per enterprise customer per year is around $1,000, around 85,000 rupees to be precise. The average account balance on a daily basis on which banks earn interest income is around 50 CR. The monthly GTV is close to 800 odd crores, 850 crores. And so these are all organic customers. This is a specialized area of transaction banking. So business comes through banks, business comes through referrals. Around 70% of our business is financial services. We built plug-and-play escrow banking stacks for co-lending, supply chain financing, revenue-based financing, fractional real estate. New buzzword now, save now, buy later, or save now, pay later. So tomorrow you want to start a fractional real estate business, come to Castler, we'll give you the entire backend. Okay, so save now, buy later, or pay later, similar. We work with 8, 10 angel syndicates and investors as well. So small team, 15 odd people, and most of the business on the financial services side, though some customers on marketplaces and PropTech as well. There is a small network effect, though we've just been live for 15, 16 months. So through these 150 customers, around 6,000-7,000 enterprise users have flavored the service of Castler Escrow. These users include folks like Fab India, Trent, Aditya Birla, Flipkart, Adani, Reliance Infra, Lifestyle, Cloudtail, and so on. Okay, so our future roadmap, we are revenue accretive. So naturally, this is a money-making business. We solve hard problems for enterprise customers, so they're willing to pay reasonable amount of revenue for that service. So we intend to become profitable by 2027. This is not a business as well where we'll need hundreds of millions of dollars. So this is a frugal kind of a business. There's hardly any burn, frankly. If we want, we can break even, become profitable in the next few quarters as well, if there is a push in that sense. So we will have four, you can say, clear revenue models: the domestic escrow business, the enterprise, the cross-border export-import escrow business, the retail business, which will be split into peer-to-peer and marketplaces, and the PropTech, the real estate business that we are planning to build. So we feel that if we get this right, if you see, there are around, I don't know, more than 100 plus stalls. For every, you can say, usage category, there are multiple players who are trying to do the same thing. But amongst the 125 stalls, there's only one escrow player, Casla. So please do visit our stall. We are at F3. Would love to do a serious conversation on your use cases and requirements for escrow banking. So look forward. Thank you guys for your patience. Any questions? Yeah, sorry.
I think we don't have one right now, maybe later, and a lot of networking that can happen over in the break time as well. So up next, after Singh Saab, of course, we have Mr. Abhinav Nair with us, who would like to talk about Mool. I think that would be quite interesting to, and I would request you to educate us all regarding this particular showcase. Would you need a mic, or the podium is okay?
That's okay. Hi, everyone, and good afternoon. Let me start with a simple question, and let's be honest with each other. How many of you feel that you are good with money? Right? So a lot of us feel that way, and there's a reason why. If you talk to most people in India, they will give you one of three responses, right? Either they feel that they don't really know how money stuff works. There's a lot of information online and it's all kind of confusing. Or somebody's already quite savvy. They understand that the bank is going to give me about 2% or 3% interest on a savings account all year. I have a cash flow business. I'm happy to stay in cash. And then there are folks who are sort of aware about different kinds of financial products that are available to them, but are faced with these marketplaces where they say that you can pick one of 5,000 mutual funds, and that's where the journey sort of ends for them because they really don't know how to go about making that decision. And it's surprising that this is the case because what you have in India is really the world's largest cohort of new savers, and 95% of them do not compound their savings faster than inflation, right? There's no wealth being created from their savings because they can't avail financial services properly. And as a result, you see a very slow accretion of financial assets in Indian households. And if you ask them why, they'll give you very simple and obvious answers. Either they'll say, I don't know how to do this. They'll say, this is too boring for me, I couldn't care less. Or they'll say that I don't really understand, right? And we did a lot of research to understand this mindset and made as our cornerstone 3 guiding principles about creating great design for a consumer finance product that reduces effort and is universally accessible. And so that's what Mool is. We are a digital financial services brand connecting multilingual users from a cash to growth experience. And what that means is that from the moment you have cash in your hand to the time that that money is doing some work for you, you can operate within the Mool ecosystem and be led the right way. And we look at a very special consumer segment in India, which we call as the riser segment, right? These are people who are, in many cases, the first in their families to have real personal disposable income. Many of them are urban, active, smartphone active, Indic language users. They have, substantial income and collectively save about $200 billion in India annually. And so keeping them in mind, we built a full stack neobanking product. On Mool today, you can open a digital account, a digital bank account without any paperwork or branch visits. You can start an assisted journey to investing into personalized growth funds or flexi deposits that pay you 10% interest, and you can take the money out at any time. you can avail insurance in which is as affordable as 75 rupees a month, and make payments, right? So we become a single brand through which, with great usability, through which the right person is able to access the right financial product from the right provider at the right time. We were very excited last year to win what's called the Curious Best Digital Product Award. This was across not just in BFSI, but across all segments where we competed against the likes of Zomato and Swiggy. So we provide 100% digital banking in about 14 Indian languages. We offer India's first credit builder card, which is a card that can improve your credit score by about 200 points over 3 months without you really taking on any loans, which is really attractive to a lot of thin file and new to credit customers. Investing is one of my favorite things. About 90% of our users are first-time investors. They've never invested in anything before. They came on not knowing what a mutual fund is. And somehow we were able to, through a digital process, understand what their risk profile should be, give them a growth fund that matches their needs. And the portfolios we offer all tend to are designed for low volatility while still beating the market benchmark, which is not an easy thing to do. And finally, you can buy insurance plans that protect your health, life, and property. So, this is sort of the product, the MVP version of our product that is now about 2 months old. We have about 150,000 customers in that time. And one of the favorite things that people come back to the app for is not to make more transactions, but just to read in Malayalam or Odia, what is credit? How do I, why should I care about a credit score? What are the basics of personal financial management? We think of ourselves more as a design company than a technology company. We've worked with IDEO and the Gates Foundation to go really deep into the kind of mindsets that people have about money, especially for this new to digital segment, and develop journeys that go away from the Silicon Valley thinking about an app as a playground to creating an app as a journey, and hope that currently the only 6% or so of banking customers who are actually able to use their mobile app, that we can start pushing the numbers on that. And the best thing is that, how this has worked out for us is that for less than the cost of sending a letter, for 5 rupees per customer, we're able to acquire that customer and turn them into a banking, investing, and insurance customer. We also have a physical merchant network of about 3 lakh merchant locations, where just as you would buy bread, you can hand cash over the counter and see it deposited in your account. If you have a larger amount of cash at home, somebody will come pick it up, and instantly you will see the transfer when you hand it over. We provide help through all kinds of ways in ways that are accessible. We're fully compliant with the regulatory and InfoSec standards that we have to keep up with in working with multiple financial institutions. And the best part is that, through this, despite working with different financial products and in multiple financial service verticals, we really have a 360-degree view of the customer. We know exactly what their cash flow curve looks like, what their needs are across banking, credit, insurance, and investment, and are able to service that need in a really accessible and low-cost way. We're proud that we've gotten some support in the form of pre-seed investment from the Nilekani family, the Patni family, one of the heads of Amazon Pay, and others. And this journey has just started. As I said, we're about 2 months old. We have 1,000 people signed up at an acquisition cost of under 5 rupees. I got into this, my background was in international development. I used to work with the World Bank and UN agencies in different low-income countries around the world, and then figure out that the answer to, for all the poverty alleviation efforts in the world, if you just compound people's savings faster than inflation, then they're going to have more money at the end. And we're excited to build a strong consumer brand, that if in 2022, SBI was in 1950, right? If we can build as strong a consumer brand for a new to formal finance segment in 2022, then we really hope that Mool is what that looks like. And I'll end with just one video, if you could play that, that'll tell you a little bit more about the types of customers that we engage with and how broad that spectrum is. Thanks so much for your attention. Happy to take any questions.
So in terms of the banking, where does the bank account actually go? Which bank? Is it SBM Bank?
It's SBM Bank, though those accounts actually lie at HDFC. Through SBM, because HDFC is the processing partner and actually holds those accounts. So the IFSC code for our accounts is an HDFC IFSC code. I think it's just because SBM is a newer bank, so HDFC does a lot of the collections and processing for them. Our banking partner is SBM. We open SBM savings accounts. And SBM has a partnership with HDFC. Great. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. Nair. Give it up for him. And with this, we conclude the product showcase for this particular session. Up next, sharp at 2 p.m., we are going to have yet another workshop. If you would like to come back again, you can always scan the barcode and have a look at the agenda as well. So that's about it. Thank you so much for joining in and hope to see you all soon. Thanks.